How long will it take to get our permits?
It really depends on the house, the project that we're doing. If it's a newer build, it can take quite a while to get through the city as far as permits go. As time is going on, the city is becoming more and more stringent on tighter energy codes, making sure that the houses are built more efficiently. They're using less energy, they're retaining more heat, and then also that all the lights are LED. And there's just a lot of new codes that are coming into play now. And so while the city is developing these and the architects are trying to keep up with what those are, it does take a little bit longer. But if it was a new build right now, I would say it's about 5 to 6 months in the permitting process. If it's an interior remodel like the one that we're in today, I would say it's closer to, it could be as fast as 2 weeks, it could be 4 weeks, but it generally goes pretty quickly as long as it's an interior remodel and we're not modifying any exterior walls.
What about pop tops or additions?
When we get to the exterior of the house, now we're adding a new group of regulators that are looking at the permit. When we submit for a pop top, we're now also having to satisfy zoning to make sure that the house isn't too tall, that it's not outside of its building footprint, that it's allowed to be on the lot, and that we're not violating any of the set rules that the city has set in place for the zoning district that the house is in. So once we modify any wall on the exterior of the house, now we're bringing zoning in, and so that brings on, another whole process, and it does make the process longer. If we're adding more walls and doing more on the exterior, the more it can take. Like if it's one exterior wall, it might add a week or two to the process. If we're adding an addition onto the house where it's a whole new structure that wasn't there, we could be talking a month or two. And every permit is different. It doesn't matter if we're doing townhouses that are right next to each other. Each one is a unique structure, and one could get permitted quickly and the one next to it could get permitted, it could take an extra month. It's just there's no real set rhyme or reason for the timeline that it takes or why this one took longer than this one. The reviewers are people too. Sometimes one reviewer might see something that another reviewer doesn't see. One reviewer might wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You never know what's going on, but they are people, and because of that, there is definitely variation in the amount of time that a permit takes to be issued.
Who submits for our permits?
Generally, when we submit for a permit, we request that the architect submits for the permit. And the reason for that is somebody's going to submit for the permit, and the city's going to have comments back to whoever made the plans, which that's the architect. So at this point, we try not to be a middle person jumping between the city and the architect because they're talking their lingo. There's a lot of code and a lot of details that the architects need to have in their plans. And we know how to read them, but as far as being able to quickly describe or communicate between two parties that are very knowledgeable in that state, we prefer just not to get involved with it. So what we do is we'll have the architects draw the plans. The architects will submit the plans. If they have any questions for us, we're obviously available, but the architects will work back and forth with the city until the plans are 100% what the city is looking for. And then the city they will issue the permit for us to do the construction. So we've just found that it's smoother, that if the person that writes the plans and their names are on the plans speak with the people that they're trying to give all the information to without us getting involved in the middle, it just makes for a smoother, cleaner process.
Do we need permits if we're just doing a remodel?
It really depends on the scope of the project. If we're doing a smaller interior project that doesn't involve removing and adding any walls in the house and changing the layout, permits generally aren't required. If we're diving in deep and doing a lot of electrical and plumbing modifications, or if we're adding a bedroom or a bathroom, We want those to be added to the city's website, to their records, so that when the house goes for sale, if we add a bedroom or a bathroom, that's counted on the county's records and you get credit for that. So that's definitely something we would want to apply for a permit for. And we generally, most of our projects, we do use permits. It's really just the small, little facelifts or removing and replacing kitchen cabinets, countertops, items like that, or retiling a bathroom. Items like that don't really aren't subject to a permit. But once we get into modifying electrical, plumbing, or HVAC, or wall layout or anything like that, we strongly recommend going for a permit, both for our sake as a builder as well as the homeowners. That way they have a peace of mind that everything was done correctly. I mean, everything we do is done correctly, and we have very little issues or concerns when it comes to getting the inspections from the city for our permits, because we do everything correctly. But it is another set of eyes to lay on the project, and it's just a peace of mind for the homeowner to know that the city has actually come through this project and verified everything, and they've signed off on it. So it must be in good standing.